Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning and check your phone. Your mortgage? Gone. Your student loans? Wiped. Your credit card debt? Your car payment? Every single thing you owe to anyone? Zero. And it's not just you. Every person, every company, every government on earth, all of it erased overnight. Your first reaction is probably relief, maybe even excitement. But here's the thing. Within 72 hours, the world as we know it would be gone. And the people who benefit the most, probably not you are thinking. Stay with me. Let's start with the fantasy version. The one that lives in your head when you are staring at a credit card statement at midnight. All that gone. On the surface, it sounds incredible. No more mortgage payments, no more student loans haunting graduates for decades, no more developing nations trapped in cycles of borrowing just to pay interest on old borrowing. And the numbers we are talking about are staggering. As of 2025, total global debt, government, corporate, and household combined sits at over 300 trillion.
Borrowing from debt markets reached historic highs in 2025. Governments and companies all over the world borrow 27 trillion US dollars. And actually we estimate that this will jump to 29 trillion in 2026, which will be 10 trillion more in just 4 years.
In plain English, the world owes more than double what it produces in an entire year. So yeah, it's easy to look at the numbers and think, what if we just reset? No more debt traps for poor countries, no more Americans drowning in medical bills, no more predatory loans, just a clean slate. And this idea isn't new, it goes back thousands of years. Ancient civilizations literally did this. They call it Jubilee. But before we get to that, here's what most people fantasy falls apart. Because cancelling debt doesn't just affect borrowers, it also affects everyone on the other side of the equation. The lenders, the savers, the pension funds, and when those collapse, so does everything else. Let's slow this down, because this is the part nobody talks about. Debt is not something people owe, debt is also someone else's asset. Think about it this way, when you take out a mortgage, the bank lends you money, but that loan doesn't just disappear into a vault. It shows up on the bank balance sheet as an asset, something they own, something they can use to back other transactions. So the moment you cancel the debt, you don't just free the borrower, you obliterate the lender's asset. Now multiply that by every mortgage, every car loan, every government bond, every corporate debt instrument on earth. Here's what happens next in roughly this order. Day 1, the bank system collapses. Banks exist on a razor-thin model. They take in deposits, lend out most of their money, and keep only a fraction in reverse. The loans they have issued are their primary assets. Cancel those loans and banks are instantly insolvent. All of them. Not one or two banks failing. Every major banks on earth at the same time with nothing to back their obligations. Your savings account backed by the bank's assets. Those assets just vanished. Day 2. Savings and pensions evaporate. Here's the part that will genuinely shock you. When people imagine debt cancellation, they picture credit card companies and Goldman Sachs losing money. What they don't picture is their own grandmother's pension fund. Pension funds, the one that pay our retirement income to hundreds of millions of people, invested heavily in government bonds and corporate debt. These are considered the safest assets in the world. Cancel all debt and every government bond becomes worthless paper overnight. Pension funds collapse, retirement accounts are wiped, people who spent 40 years saving their retirement wake up with nothing. Day 3. Trade dies. International trade runs on credit. When a company in Germany ships goods to a company in Brazil, they don't wait for payment. They use letters of credit, essentially short-term loans that bridge the gap between shipping and payment. Cancel all debt and that mechanism disappears. Ports stop moving goods. Supply chain freeze. Shelves start emptying. And remember, we live in a world where most countries import significant portions of their food. This is not a theoretical inconvenience. This is a humanitarian crisis within days. When everything collapses and dust settles, one group tends to emerge on top. The people who already own things. In a world where financial assets are destroyed, the only thing left with value are physical assets. Land, building, gold, oil infrastructure, agricultural land, manufacturing capacity. And who owns those? The ultra-wealthy. The same people who have been using a strategy that financial advisors euphemistically call buy, borrow, and die. They buy assets. They borrow against those assets to fund their lifestyle rather than actually selling anything, and they pass the assets to their heirs. The rich don't need debt to survive. They use debt as a tool, cancel debt, and their tool disappears. But so does everyone else's lifeline. In the chaos that follows, when governments are scrambling, currencies are collapsing, and ordinary people are desperate, hard assets become king, and the people who own them can scoop up even more for next to nothing. We have seen versions of this before in hyperinflationary collapses. Weimar Germany, Zimbabwe, Argentina. The people who survived best weren't the one with cash in the bank. They were the ones with land, gold, or foreign currency. There's a dark irony here. The system we built to give people opportunities becomes the very thing that destroys them when it fails. So the next time someone asks you, why can't we just cancel all debt? You'll know the real answer isn't because it's wrong. It's because we built in a world where we can't afford to. If you found this interesting, subscribe. See you in the next one.